Hello, hello. It is your Astro Coach Sarah here for Wellness Astrology, this time for the moon in Aquarius. This is June 14th and 15th. Happy weekend. Expect anything. So I'm just going to show y'all the chart for Saturday, or I guess it's Sunday morning that the actual numbers match. But I'm telling you, you're going to feel this. You've probably felt it all week. If you've been watching me or any other astrologer, they've been talking about it. But here we are. So let's look at the chart for Sunday morning, the 15th, which is when the shit, perfects. But if you have not felt it already, particularly if you have planets or points at anywhere from 0 to 5 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and if you have any planets points from like 27 to 29 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, you're feeling this. So you're feeling this the most. We're all going to experience it in some way. But let's take a look at the chart and see what we're talking about. Okay, I might have to rewatch this video to make sure that I shared properly because I hit the wrong thing. But I corrected it, but I want to make sure it works. All right, this is Sunday morning, June 15th. This chart is at 9:33, excuse me, 8:33 a.m. Central Time. This is the 15th. The moon is at 14 degrees Aquarius. Jupiter and Saturn are at 1 degree and 17 minutes of Cancer and Aries. And then just hours before this would have been the Mars Uranus. So this is what I'm saying. You have been feeling this for a while. These have both been building for a while, like the better part of the last week and a half. But the moon went past Pluto, and the moon's in Aquarius, Pluto's in Aquarius. It's about the people. And it may not seem like it in this moment that what's happening or what's transpiring is about the people because it's very disruptive. It is very intense. You also have to remember that the United States has a Cancer sun. So there are definitely things that are happening that are going to affect the United States directly. Okay. And so that's based off of the July 4th, 1776 chart, which I do not have. So I'm sorry. I should probably have that chart, but I don't. I can tell you that I believe the United States moon is at 26 or 7 Aquarius. So that square between um, Uranus and Mars will be a T square with the moon, the United States moon. So there's that to consider. And so, this could mean that people are getting annoyed and upset and pissed off because are something to do with the government, things like that. I do feel like with this Jupiter-Saturn square, with the Jupiter being in Cancer, which is about home and family, that people could get potentially like self-isolating out of fear, out of anxiety. Now, people can self-isolate for different reasons, okay? So there could be like self-isolation out of personal development, right? You've got goals, you're on a mission, so you kind of self-isolate from, people in your life so that you can get after your dreams, get after your shit, change your life, whatever, whatever. But there's also the negative side of self-isolation, which is like anxiety, depression, emotional instability, and things like that. And I could certainly see that being a factor. I know there's a lot of people who are very much at the end of their rope right now. And so I would really invite you to check on your people. Make sure people are okay. Make sure that people are getting their voices heard. Maybe they just need somebody to talk to, a shoulder, because things are rough right now. Jobs are rough right now. Housing and homeownership is tough right now. And so this is a lot of intense energy. There's two big squares with outer planets. The Jupiter Saturn square is the third of the opening square. I think I've talked about this before, from the conjunction that happened at 0 Aquarius back in, I thought it was 2020, January of 2020, but I think it was 2021. I don't know. I feel like I've looked at it 3 times and I still can't commit it to memory. But either way, it happened in 2020 or 2021. We all know what was going on then. And then of the 3 squares that we've experienced, one was in August of 2024, one was in January of 2025, and now this one, but this one, they're both in cardinal signs, whereas before they were immutable signs. And so there really could be a new something, like something new surfaces, something new, some new information, some new perspective, new way of handling a situation. I do want to mention too, with the North Node in Pisces and, thinking about the Mars retrograde that happened in Cancer, because now we've got Mercury and Jupiter moving through Cancer, that's going to kind of have some reverberation from Mars being in Cancer for so long, that, water and food, because nourishment. So you may want to just be extra conscientious about your water and your nutrition and things like that. We can still talk about liquids and fuels and injectables and things like that. And so, I there's several ways I could talk about that. But just remember that, and I know I've heard some things about like GLP-1s, and weight loss type medications. However, like the addictive ingredients that's in a lot of processed food counteracts those medications. So it kind of makes people who are on those medications feel like they're losing their shit, or they're incapable of controlling their food, or their relationship with food. So that could be a factor that surfaces during all of this. And so, Saturn and Neptune in Aries with Mars in Leo squaring Uranus, we could see some sort of military intervention or action, things like that. Just remember, don't believe everything you see, hear, and read, because a lot of it is just a show. And a lot of it is meant to fearmonger. It is meant to keep us divided. It is meant to keep us from hearing each other out. It is meant to keep us scared. It is meant to keep us debilitated mentally and otherwise. And so there's a lot of that kind of shit that's going on too. But with the moon in Aquarius, I don't know. That feels a little bit like it feels like something could happen that's like for the people. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not only unwilling to hear certain things, but they're unwilling to accept certain things, and they're unwilling to learn certain things. And so that could be a factor. But you got to remember, with Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus about to enter Gemini here in just a few weeks, like you got to be able to learn and grow and evolve, because otherwise you're going to get held back. So be willing to learn, be open to information. Cognitive dissonance could be a real factor. Cognitive dissonance is the distance between what you believe to be true and what's really true, or what you believe is real and what's really real. Like it's a change of opinion, right? But I think I talked about it in the previous video about justice and being able to see things objectively, and pull back, and it's not always the most comfortable place to be, is learning that what you believed to be true is untrue. And so this is where learning how to process things mentally and physically, can be really helpful and beneficial. Once again, watch your nervous system, make sure you're moving the energy, make sure that you are grounding, whether you need to meditate, whether you need to physically write out, journal. If you physically write things out, whether you print with a pen and paper, or you braille with a braille writer or slate and stylus, or however you print, the reason that I suggest like the manual printing versus typing is because it forces your body to think. It forces your body to use something other than like just typing or even dictation. Like now is not the time to do those sorts of things unless you are like writing a book. But if you're trying to just get your thoughts out, there's something called subconscious writing. It's mentioned in The Artist's Way, and it's one of the tools that she uses in The Artist's Way, where you write 3 pages a day, and it's just subconscious streams of writing, and you're physically supposed to write those pages out with a pen and paper. And so versus typing them, because it's meant to be an exercise that engages multiple parts of your brain. And so physical activity, getting outside, getting out, getting away from the digital information overload, things like that. Could those are things that you need to be practicing right now. Get yourself sweaty. Good Lord, I live in the Midwest. If you need to get sweaty, come to the fucking Midwest. It is disgusting here. I digress. The funny story. I've never been to my gym in the summertime because I've lived here intermittently and I've only had a gym membership in the winter. And part of the gym that I use is on the second floor. Guess what? No air conditioning. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a hot, sweaty summer in the gym, ain't it? Guaranteed none of those boys using that gym up there clean anything off. So, ugh. It is what it is. They don't clean anything. I can tell you they don't wipe anything down because they don't put anything away. If you go to the gym, please re-rack your weights. Please, please, please re-rack your weights. Okay, be nice to the people coming in behind you because good Lord, if you use the Smith machine or if you use the hack squat machine and you leave your 200 pounds on there, that's like how many weight plates, 45-pound weight plates that somebody like me has to come in and move just so I can have the bar or use the machine. Okay, all right, put your damn weights away. Be nice. But anyway, but move your body, get outside, get a workout in, lift some weights. Even if you do body weight stuff, that's effective. Go do some martial arts and use your brain to do things. Go try a yoga class or a Pilates class. So you have to use your brain to move your body because that's engaging multiple parts of your nervous system that can help you calm down and disconnect from the bullshit that's going on in the world. But guaranteed, be open to possibility here, right? Like we just had a powerful full moon earlier this week. So like be open to something exciting with that Mars Uranus square. You never know what can happen. You really never know. Be open to it, okay? All right, let's get some cards going here. Because I don't want it to look like all gloom and doom. I mean, it's tense for sure because it's squares. And squares are tension, but squares are also lessons. Beautiful things can come out of you taking the opportunity to learn a lesson. So, all right. We have the world in reverse. Something ain't going the way we thought it was gonna go. I could have told you that. I think I said that whatever happened in November of 2024 was probably not going to be what was going on by mid-year 2025. And this does not have to pertain particularly to the United States presidential election. It could, but it doesn't have to, but it could. But in other news besides the geopolitical stage, I do think that there are things that you thought were going to go a certain type of way that are not going to go that way. And remember, I said in my year forecast, I said be open to how things can change and transform because as we move through this, Saturn and Neptune and Uranus are all entering new signs, but they're all three going to retrograde back into old signs. So your cleanup work in Pisces is not complete. Your cleanup work in Taurus is not complete, even though Uranus has not moved yet. But he will very shortly. But we'll just stick with Saturn and Neptune for the moment. But because that's 0-degree Aries, 0, 1, and 2-degree Aries, right? And they're going to both retrograde back into Pisces and come back into Aries early in 2026. And there's some potent good energy in early 2026 that I think is going to open doors that you can't see yet, but that's coming, and something's going to redirect you. And here's what I'm going to say. I think I've said this so many times, but I'm going to say it again. If you want the redirection to be in like a way positive way, you're going to have to put in the work. Because you can redirect you in a super potent positive way. You got to do the work. We also got, ooh, the Emperor Upright. Commander Riker. Damn, he's hot. Anyway, well, this is masculine leadership, and that Jupiter and Saturn situation has everything to do with Saturn has everything to do with with leadership, and authority figures. And so there could be something, I mean, this could be like men reclaiming. Okay, I might get, there's a book out there that's called A Female Body Part. I'll call it a vagina, but that's not the name of the book. Okay. And you done with OPP? Okay. Um, there's a book called Vagina, a Reclamation. Okay. It's a really good book. Okay. You can go read it. You can go find it. I found it on Audible. I read it years and years ago. But anyway, uh, I feel like that's what this is for men. Like they're going to reclaim their balls. They're going to reclaim their testosterone. They're going to reclaim their leadership. Men, okay? And I'm not talking about business suits and shit like that. I'm talking about men, military, Navy SEAL, that kind of shit. Those are the kinds of men I actually respect more than in business suits. Is like Navy SEAL. So the world's not going the way you thought it was going to go because men are reclaiming their balls. This is a beautiful thing. I don't know that this is literally how it's going to go, but there is something about the world's upset, which makes sense with the Mars-Uranus square and the Saturn-Jupiter square. But there is also something about male leadership, masculine leadership, and how that might go. And yes, this could be related to the US president. I don't know that for sure, but I know that Uranus Mars square is related to the Uranus Mars conjunction from mid-July 2024. Think back to what happened then. And what came up for you at that point? What were you experiencing that maybe is now being like disrupted or surprised or something like that? So, lots of directions that conversation could go. But certainly, is there going to be an upset in the world over the weekend? Most likely. It's probably already happened by the time you're even watching this video. Let's see what's up with the ancient feminine wisdom, and we will call it a weekend. We got, oh boy. I believe it's amphitrite, amphitrite. We're gonna go with that. And the word on the theme word is, get my hair out of the way. Depth of feeling. Ooh, I like this. She's in the water. She's got her feet in the water. Actually, she may be. I like this because this is, I mean, Jupiter's in Cancer, Mercury's in Cancer. You're gonna have to feel your feels. You can't hide from something anymore. Um, I think this is totally to do with like whatever you feel deeply about, you need to go after it. No holds barred. Go watch a motivational movie, whether it's Rocky or Vision Quest or I don't know, pick your flavor of inspirational movie. Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Um, I could name tons of them. Facing the Giants, very good motivational, inspirational movie. Um, but pushing yourself to experience your feelings. Like you've got to find something that is going to it's funny, I just talked about that book about like the vagina and like it's so true, right? You've got to find things that like um that turn you on. I have a much cruder way of saying that when I'm working with clients, but I'll leave it at turning you on here because you've got to get yourself turned on. I once heard, I think I've talked about like making your life orgasmic, right? Making your life exciting, right? You could get walloped away by the waves of fire and the waves of the ocean with everything that's going on in the world, or you could have fun and you could pursue projects that light you up, that make you want to jot down everything you're thinking about, right? So many things. And I really want to see you enjoy your life and what you're doing with your life, the projects that you're up to, that you're so excited about it, that everyone else around you is excited. Like, when is that going to come out? Because I want to hear about it. I want to see it. I want to read it. I want to watch the video. I want to blah, 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 blah. You know, get people excited around you. But the only way they're going to get excited is when you're excited. So tune into your vagina and your penis and let it be turned on. Let the juices flow, as they say. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Have a great weekend. And I will talk to you on the next video. So take care.